Welcome back to Grim Dawn, my amazing lizard friends. We finally arrived in Homestead after a long and perilous way. And only to find out that they also have their own problems getting food. The fields are overrun, the Black Legion doesn't really much help them. And there's a lot of more people we have to talk to find out what's going on here anyway. Not in a good shape here. So I wonder what we can find out. Let's talk to some more people here. See what's going on. There's like a lot of marksmen and stuff from the Black Legion. Who are you? Isaiah Redder. Oh, it's you. Hope the animals had gotten you by now. Well, I survived. Ah, that's the guy that we didn't... Yeah, it's the guy we didn't kill. Like, his companion told us to kill him because he stole like wares from him, but he told us that his daughter was attacked by this companion, so that he killed him out of revenge for this. So if we would have killed him, he wouldn't be here, of course. Interesting. And this seemed to be his daughter? She doesn't seem that young though. Oh, well, I survived. Look, I'm not going to pretend like you didn't drop us out there, but I've got goods for sale and we need the bits. So either take a look at what I have for sale or get out of my face. And don't try anything funny. The Legion is keeping a tight watch on this place. Alright, let's see what you have.
Come see what's left of my wares.
Boring. Oh, that's really boring stuff, sorry. Sorry to disappoint you, guy, but that's too boring for my liking. But interesting, I mean, yeah, we took his money to leave him be, but I think it's okay. If you're looking for wares, speak to my father. Yeah, that's the girl, okay. I like the sign of the Black... I guess it's from the Black Legion, looks pretty cool.
I'll give you a good
Another...
price on what I've got left.
Morris Burton. Not that much interested in wares we get, like... Grown with stuff anyway. Ah, this is like Quartermaster. Yeah, it's like some blueprints. Kinda interested in blueprints though. Wow, this looks really cool. More blueprints, more stuff. Interesting, interesting. Okay.
Good use.
We have like our next assignment here. Oh, some kids. Ah, that's the thornberries. Don't wake her up. What you got there? This is Mona. I'd let you hold her, but she's being mean and cries when anybody but me does it. I understand. You take care of Mona. Wow. Süße Kleine. Dahlia Turnsbury. Oh, hello there. You startled me. I'm probably not the person you're looking for. You should speak to Douglas if you require assistance. Okay, she doesn't have anything to tell us. Inquisitor Creed. This was the guy that we found so many journals of. That he said that he was taken by Warden Creek, and he wrote these journals about what's going on there.
So much death. No end in sight.
I got some questions. How did you escape from Warden Creek's lab? As an Inquisitor, I had access to many occult artifacts and relics that had come into the safekeeping of the Luminary. Some that were deemed more benign were occasionally lent out to veteran Inquisitors, and I have used them to great advantage. Creek underestimated that. But I have access to some of these. These aren't toys who just hand out to everybody. They are powerful artifacts that have to be handled carefully. Besides that, they are now irreplaceable as the Vault of the Luminary has fallen into the hands of our enemies. I can only hope that the Ethereals never discern the powers of some of the more potent objects within the vaults, or at least wise enough not to use them. In any case, I'm afraid the answer is no. And what does an Inquisitor do? The Inquisitors of Luminary were responsible for investigating and eliminating any supernatural threats within the Empire. That could mean anything from breaking up an occult coven to securing a dangerous artifact, or even hunting down otherworldly creatures that occasionally cross the veil between realities. The cult of Cthulhu was one of the greatest challenges because the root of it, the dying god, is beyond our reach of power to destroy. It has been with us since ancient times. Given their recent rise of power, it also seems to be one of our greatest failures. Okay, I think that's it. So this is the Inquisitor that wrote the journal. It's interesting. We found him. There's another entrance. Cool. And another entrance. So this episode will be a lot of reading and stuff like this. I hope you don't mind. It will be a lot of history lessons. Not much action, I fear. Weapon Master Barrow. Okay, he doesn't like us. Doesn't even talk to us. Where are you? Stay on your guard. The enemies of humanity are all around us. Okay, got any stories from the front lines? I was there when the capital fell. Possessed men turning on us, corrupted mutants pouring through the gates. It was a living nightmare. I watched half my squad get torn to shreds in the first exchange by enemies we had never faced before. It was hopeless. Surprised no one when the commander called for a full retreat. Oh, sounds horrible. Black Legion scouting reports. We just take this, okay? Ah, that's Captain Soma.
Welcome to Homestead. We could definitely use more capable hands around here. If you find yourself back out there and run into a smug smartass by the name Ulgrim, tell him he's late, as usual.
I have some questions. Can you open the gates? Nobody's going through these gates until I've received Ulgrim's report. Ah, so I first have to go back to Ulgrim. What's the situation here? I tell you that I've dealt with worse, but I'm not sure that's true. The situation here is about as bad as it gets. We have Ethereals and the cult of Cthulhu on our doorstep, few supplies, no heavy weapons, and barely enough men to keep it all together. Sounds pretty dark. What can you tell me about the Black Legion? What's there to say that isn't widespread public knowledge? We are a band of criminals, misfits, and political outcasts conscripted into the service of the Empire. Yet as an army of expendables forever in the front lines of the Empire's harshest wars, we've been forged by iron and blood into one of the most elite fighting groups in the known world. We suffered significant losses in the Grim Dawn, but thanks to Greed's warning, we've fought better than others and we're not done fighting yet. Is that Inquisitor Creek? Why, have you heard of him? Yes, Inquisitor Creek has been working closely with the Black Legion after the Grim Dawn. His insight on the Ethereals has helped keep all of us alive so far. I found evidence of his presence in Burbage. Yes, grisly business with Warden Creek. Creed barely escaped with his life. I killed the Warden. I brag about this, yeah. If that's true, then you have my respect. Thank you.
I'll keep
Here
your
can
stash
come.
safe.
There's some stuff. This we sell, but first.
I'll hold on to that for you.
Ah, here's another
Come see
smith.
what's left of my wares.
Ah, that's Black Legion person. Quartermaster. A lot of new recipes and stuff.
See you
Interesting.
around.
Goodman. We don't open the gates anyway, we already learned this. There's a sergeant. I hope you're here to do more than just loiter. Okay. We reported to Captain Soma, but Captain Soma only gives us anything to do when we are returning to Ulgrim, I think. So, let's see. Let's see the Inquisitor's journal. Much time has passed since my last entry. Following my escape from Krieg's laboratory, I have raced against time and lost, passed through darkness and flame and witnessed the ruin of the world as I knew it. Even as I assumed key figures in the capital were likely to be possessed by the entities we now call Ethereals, I reasoned that it was only with support from within capital that we could hope to thwart them. Any action that began outside the capital could be spun as a political rebellion and crushed with the Empire's own forces before the truth could be exposed. Thus I cast the dice and raced toward the heart of Urulan, trying to conceal myself as best I could. Upon my arrival, I proceeded cautiously, booking a room at a squalid inn near the west gates in an effort to keep my arrival secret. Initially, I sought out old acquaintances, assuming I could detect some change in personality or behavior. It might reveal possession. A few awkward reunions made it painfully obvious that years on the road carrying out my duties as an Inquisitor had left me out of touch and unable to discern whether any changes were the result of possession or just a passage of time and faded memories. The only gamble left then was to report back to the citadel of the luminary and see what came of it. I never made it there. Waiting until the sunlight dwindled and quartz thinned in the streets below, I rose to leave but was quite startled to see that a shadowy figure had somehow silently breached my room, evading all of the wards set against intruders. This is how I came into cooperation with the First Blade. Woo! So this Ulgrim guy is really powerful, and whatever he is, seems to be crazy strong though. It was known that anyone of significance who formed discontent or posed a real threat to the rule of the Emperor might be visited by the First Blade. I had never stirred such controversy, but I always imagined that such an encounter took place. I could put up a respectable fight. I never got a chance. Taken unawares, I was disarmed before I even knew what was happening. Had he sought my death, I would not have been witnessed the killing stroke fall. However, he seemed more interested in answers instead, and in turn provided me with an account of his own events that confirmed my worst fears. The First Blade revealed that, only days prior, he had been forced to turn his knives on the Emperor himself by his own command. Despite the myriad safeguards protecting the Emperor, both mundane and arcane, he had become host to an ethereal. The strength of mind he had usurped his possessor long enough to summon the First Blade, command his own execution, and charge the assassin of ensuring that his son, the young prince, survived to claim the throne. His last commands issued, the Emperor's consciousness slipped once again under the control of the ethereal, and a desperate battle ensued. The First Blade reported that he believed the Emperor and the ethereal within him slain, but given his inexperience with the entities, could not say anything for certain. He relayed that he had secretly taken the prince and put him into hiding, but declined to elaborate. The First Blade said he intended to retire his imperial title and had chosen the name Ulgrim, which made me curious as to whether it was an intentional reference to the mythical character. A final troubling detail was that not proclamation of the Emperor's passing had been issued. Not only did this demonstrate the Ethereals had sufficient control of the palace to conceal the death, but given that they couldn't hope to hide the Emperor's absence for long, it suggested the next phase of the operation was imminent. I strategized with Ulgrim long into the night for formulating a plan to encounter the Ethereals, but ultimately we agreed that we could not defeat their conspiracy in time. The only course left was gather whatever people and resources we could, got to the ground and weathered the coming storm, then find a way to counter the invaders. We agreed that the Black Legion would be our best hope in securing allies. As a conscripted army of criminals, debtors and political dissidents bound to service, it seemed unlikely that the Ethereals would have any reason to infiltrate them when they could control them indirectly through the military high command. The next step was to discreetly make contact. Okay, so basically Ulgrim contacted Greed, hoping to find help, and it looked really desperate for them. Let's see what the scouting report says. I write this letter to report of extreme and disturbing ethereal activity to the north of Homestead. I sought off to the foothills and made my way through the warren of low stone walls, fences and occasional farmhouses. I was careful to move in secret and remain undetected from the horrors that still roam the fields. Unchecked, I made it to the valley of two hills near the river when I witnessed something I can barely comprehend. An unearthly black pillar that was neither stone nor flesh, drifting slowly across the land as would a low cloud. A sickly green glow burned at its core, and great writhing tendrils hung from somewhere underneath the shifting black shell. I watched it mounting dread as the unholy obelisk slowed, and then, without warning, burrowed the hooks of the dangling tentacles into the ground. The ground began to wither and glow with the same unwholesomeness green. It was then that the obelisk pulled itself into the ground, with a sound that made me feel as if the earth was dying. It began glowing so bright I could hardly look. Power seeped into the ground, twisting and corrupting as it spread. I lingered for nearly an hour in that place, and in that time a great distance around the obelisk had been changed. I was about to leave when the obelisk erupted from the ground and drifted to an untouched patch of land to begin the cycle again. We must act soon, or there will be nothing left to save. 6th Regimental Scouts of the Black Legion, Werner Oberach. Okay. That's worrisome. We go back now to Ulgrim. So, where was he? Was he in Prospectus Trail Rift, I think. No. No, it was not here. Where was it? Here, Deadman's Glitch, of course. Before we went into the pass. There. Let's see if he's alright. Now that we know so much about Ulgrim. So first we tell this guy. Ah, this is like the depths where we couldn't pass, yeah. Let's tell him of his sister's passing first. Did you find my sister? Yes, she was in the mountain deeps. I'm sorry. I had a feeling. Thank you for the information. Excuse me. I'm sorry for your loss. I guess it's better to know what happened instead of having to wonder all your life.
So how doomed are we?
I've secured the way via Rift
Good
Gate.
luck. I can't say I enjoyed my first travel by Rift, but it's certainly better than the alternative.
I'll see you all on Homestead. Shush. There I go. So we take the Rift back also. Then we see. I imagined Homestead to be more of a city or something, but it's just like really sad looking small houses. Let's see. Where do we find him?
I hear you.
No. Ah, next to meet.
I wasn't sure you'd make it, but you pulled through. Those people owe you their lives.
I did what was right.
I wish that was the end of our troubles, but there is a mounting threat on the horizon that threatens to wipe us all out.
What do we do now?
I'm going to check in with Creed here, but I suggest you speak to Captain Sommer. She's the Black Legion officer in charge of this sorry bunch. Look for the grumpy middle-aged hag in Black Legion armor. She'll fill you in on the situation.
That's a really nice description. I will speak to her.
Still haven't talked to the captain?
Yeah, I'm going. Now we got new quests also. The weapons master looks over the supplies and sights. It's a damn shame about the cannons. This place would feel a whole lot safer if we had a few of those beauties mounted up on the walls. What happened to the cannons? We had no choice but to abandon them on the road when the Ethereals attacked us in force. Thankfully the bastards don't know a thing about artillery. What if I recovered them? Then I would call you insane. Treading into the area is nothing short of suicide. There's a reason we call it the Conflagration now. It's overrun with Ethereals. Even the very ground will cook you alive with ether fire. You like living? Stay out of that place. Just watch me.
I'll skip the pleasantries. Ulgrim tells me you're one tough slith, and right now that's what I need most. Will you fight for the Black Legion?
Where do you need me?
The Legion is split on two fronts. To the north, we have the Cult of Gathan. Nasty bastards keen on turning all of us into a puddle of blood for their rituals. I have my best men out there right now scouting ahead. The cultists are amassing in great numbers, and I'd like to know why. There is a more pressing issue, however, and this is where you come in. Ulgrim says that you are experienced with fighting the Ethereals. That's good. You'll need all your skills for this one. Far to the west, beyond the infested farms and the rotting croplands, there is an area teeming with Ethereals that we have started calling the Gruesome Harvest. It is a fitting title as the Ethereals have been gathering corpses, animal and human alike, in order to conduct their sick resurrection techniques upon them. The barn there has been giving off a blinding aether light non-stop for the last few days and nights. That is, until today. Whatever they are working on, it must be nearly finished. And knowing the Ethereals, it's something monstrous. We can't risk the Ethereals discovering that we know about their creation. I need someone to sneak in there and destroy this abomination before it even has a chance to wreak havoc upon my people. We'll only get one shot at this, so I want someone who has experience dealing with ethereal horrors to handle this mission. Will you be my champion?
That sounds really dangerous though. What about the Dimapterans? Whatever they have like a very funny name.
Been talking to Douglas? Look, I'd love to solve all the world's problems, but unfortunately, I do not have the troops to send them out on a bug hunt. Douglas and the other farmers will just have to accept it for now. Perhaps later, once the Ethereals and the Chthonians have been dealt with, then I can think about sending some men out to the fields to clear out this infestation.
Yeah, but if you're all starved, then you don't have any men left to send them out to the fields, I guess.
The Legion is split on 2 fronts. To the north...
Okay. Tracking down abominations? I think we can do that. Is there anything else new here? I mean... Now that Urgum and the others are back, is there any new stuff? Just some new texts from those people. But I guess not that interesting at the end. But no, otherwise nothing new it seems. No,
Gotta be more scrap metal.
nothing going on here. Okay, so guys, I'm sorry this was a bit of a lame episode, I think, but no matter what, we're continuing in the next episode. We catched up with some history and background information, and in the next episode we're going back to the action and beating up some Ethereals, I think. So stay with me, come back in the next episode, and I love to entertain you. See you, and maybe consider liking and subscribing to the channel. That would mean a lot to me. And in the meantime, check out my other videos. Right now it's only an Elder Scrolls Online Let's Play online, but it will be more soon, I hope. So, and also check out my Instagram. You never should miss out on my epic adventures on there, even though there's not much epic to see, I think. But anyway, check it out, and do come back for the next episode. Until then, stay healthy, keep on rocking, and bye bye!